Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. Let me begin by thanking the budget team. Belisa Wells, our budget manager, Joshua Spaz, Brittany Jenkins, Tammy Winston, Georgette Kearney, and our Director of Finance, Matilda Crosby. They have some of the toughest jobs in county government, and this, Mr. Chairman and members, is one of the toughest budget years. We are in the midst of one of the most transformative periods in Shelby County history. At the beginning of March, there were virtually no confirmed cases of novel coronavirus in the entire United States. Almost overnight, this infectious and deadly pathogen has spread to the U.S. and now the Mid-South. Now, here we are in April 2020. The U.S. economy has largely been shut down, probably for the first time in U.S. history. We have created the first joint task force, where all local governments are represented, a task force dedicated to responding to an invisible enemy. And we have all adopted new language and habits: social distance, spread, contact tracing, isolation, and quarantine. Our lives will never again be quite the same. Even in the midst of this unprecedented event, we must continue. Shelby County government has operated continuously for 200 years. The budget is one of the most important things this commission will do. It's the roadmap to take us to our 201st anniversary, to take us beyond. We will get to the next 200 years of continuous operation in Shelby County government. The $1.4 billion budget I propose to you today is lean and balanced. We don't spend more than our estimates allow, and this budget requires us to tighten our belts. This budget proposes serious cuts. This budget will make us all to make some tough decisions, like everyone else in America right now. Although this budget is lean, the proposed budget meets our obligations to our retirees by fully funding our pension. Although the budget proposes new revenues, this budget does not propose a property tax increase. Again, this budget proposes no property tax increase. The budget does propose that we refocus county government in light of the moment that we're in right now. The budget includes strategic investments in education, public safety, public health, emergency preparedness, and in strengthening the social safety net. If we focus our efforts in the coming year on those areas, we will make it through this pandemic, and we will be in a position when it's all over to help our working families, our businesses, and our residents to get on the path to recovery. This is Shelby County's opportunity for a comeback. First, I propose investing in expanding and strengthening our social safety net. The budget proposes that we make new investment in our Division of Community Services. Because of recent action by this commission, we have a jump start on those plans. We will hire more social workers, more personnel to assist our veterans population, and create a new COVID assistance fund to provide direct assistance to families hard hit by this worldwide public health emergency. Second, our health department will be mounting an aggressive effort to protect the public for many, many months ahead. That includes an expansion of their investigation and contact tracing operation and their research capabilities. That also includes a public-facing operation. Every day, our health department releases to the public and press more than a dozen pages of data on COVID-19. They even provide data about the surrounding counties. They record the outcome of each of the 3,000 calls to the health department on hotlines that they have helped to set up and help to manage. That's how we've learned so much about the COVID spread already. This budget fully funds the commitment to the public health department, and we will continue the process of expanding their capacity. Third, public safety has always been the highest priority in this community. When it comes to public safety, we have included approximately $4 million in new resources for our sheriff. We propose funding 30 new additional patrol positions. These are the deputies we will need to patrol the soon-to-be de-annexed areas. If this budget item is approved, the sheriff is prepared to kick off a new recruit class as soon as July 1, the very first day of the new budget year. Fourth, a word on education. Mr. Chairman and members, the budget continues to build on our historic and unprecedented work last year to, for the first time in county history, devote more than $8 million to early childhood education. This year, like last year, we have allocated $8.5 million to pre-K and early pre-K. Furthermore, we're going to make sure that our schools are not shortchanged. Our budget includes the full $427 million for schools, in addition to $33 million for school construction needs. On top of our investment in construction dollars, we've updated our 5-year plan to set aside an additional $50 million for SES and an additional $15 million for the municipal school districts, a total of $65 million in new and additional investment. We've set aside this money as incentive for education leaders to commit to rapidly build new facilities and give more kids a first-rate learning environment. Communities like Fraser are desperately in need of new investments in schools. If we fund school construction, this $65 million can represent our down payment on the fuller need. I am personally committed to investing virtually whatever it takes to expand opportunities for kids and change life trajectories. Let me shift gears and say a word or two about our challenges. Our property taxes have decreased by nearly $9 million. There were significant additions to the budget last year, which means that we had to dip heavily into our fund balance. Our costs, particularly because of de-annexation and the operations at our prison, have grown. We have a deficit in our education fund. I believe that in order to address these challenges, it will take courage and the willingness to make hard decisions. The budget I present is the result of several hard decisions. This budget proposes cuts of $13.5 million. No one wants to cut, but we, like any business or household, have to live within our means. Additionally, our budget deficit will require us to dip into our fund balance. Our fund balance policy recommends that the balance be nothing less than 20%, or approximately $85 million. This year, we will recommend a limited use of fund balance to the tune of $6 million, while maintaining an end-of-year fund balance of 20%. This will help us manage our budget for this year and meet our challenges, but we will continue to be in compliance with our debt policy. Finally, this budget includes new revenues in addition to the serious cuts to spending. As you know from the presentation we had before, we do not have many sources to raise revenue. Our property tax is the highest in the state. Our local option sales tax is at the limit. Our hotel motel tax is nearly the highest. And besides, those funds are devoted elsewhere. We have few options. This budget proposes no property tax increase. Instead, the budget proposes a $16.50 increase in car registration fees, which would only apply after businesses and the economy reopen. The goal here is to make sure that no one is hit with new taxes or fees while the economy is closed down and job losses continue to mount. Although other municipalities in Shelby County and even the state have recently raised car registration fees, this would be the first time in 20 years that Shelby County has raised its car registration fees. In the proposed budget, all the funds from car registration fees would continue to go to education and help us meet our commitment, our full commitment to the schools of $427 million. Make no mistake, members, this is a tough budget year, but I believe we have a real chance to make it through this year without layoffs and with the ability to make strategic investments, fully fund our schools, and continue the work of advancing the public interest. Finally, I want to note that in the coming FY21 budget year, we will be moving forward other work that's not necessarily reflected in the budget. For instance, we expect in the coming budget year, we will be able to expand our ability to invest in fire services, changes that will be needed largely as a result of de-annexation. Importantly, though, I believe we will be able to deliver on some long-awaited investment in the community. The residents of Bartlett, for instance, have been waiting a long time to get their fire equipment restored, and we want to put Fire Station 60 back at full capacity. In the coming months, we'll plan to restore and expand our investment in fire services. In addition, in the coming budget year, we will put the finishing touches on our process to establish the county's first sanitation operation. Before this year is done, we will be providing sanitation services to the residents of North Haven. And lastly, in short order, we will form a committee on long-term budget stability. With appointments from the CAO and the chairman of this commission, this new committee will be important as it will help us to bring solutions to our structural imbalance and identify opportunities for new revenue that do not involve new taxes. The good news, Chairman and members, is that we have some areas of opportunity. Our prison contract, for example, is to be renewed soon, and the renewals on various insurance contracts, to name just two. Let me end by saying we have worked hard to meet the moment we are in. Even consider the fact that the budget I'll leave with you today is not on paper, but proposed only in electronic form. We're not wasting a lot of paper today because we want to quietly signal the importance of our environment and conservation. This public health emergency reminds us that we are all tied one to the other, and that there are dangers so large that they have global implications. The environmental dangers on the horizon loom just as large as anything humanity has ever faced. We all have to find ways to meet that issue. And we're not printing on paper today because we want to remind everyone that this is a budget proposal. It's not firm or permanent like the budget books of yesteryear. We want to enter into this part of the process with the spirit of collaboration. We want to work with this commission and other stakeholders toward a finished product that reflects collaboration. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. With respect to the decisions now before you, I know that each of you will be guided by your conscience.